You can view the video of this podcast on Jazz Cabbage's YouTube or Facebook pages.
Hey, we have to go check on Drew and Anthony over here. I'm concerned that some really nice organic plants are getting contaminated. But we get a twofer here. Anthony Freed, and this is super old school.
I know. I never anticipated being on your illustrious program.
No, but here you are. So cool. And I'm not sure if Colin and Shelly and Jim know Anthony, but Anthony Freed, he started Third Coast with us many moons ago.
It makes you feel old, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see you, man.
Oh, the gray in your beard makes me feel old, Anthony. My gosh. So yeah, but what a wonderful place you guys are in. That's Apothecare's grow facility. Is that right?
Well, actually, we have a little surprise for everybody. It's a pop-up clone shop in the old space that we used to dispense from here on the Plymouth Road Mall. We have our new state-of-the-art provisioning center on the ground floor now. So if anybody comes by, they don't come up to the old suite unless you want clones. The cured flower is downstairs.
Looks great.
We got a shot of that inside of the store, or was a couple weeks ago when Jim was there with you. Beautiful. I got to see it myself earlier, and what a cool operation there.
Yeah, that looks great up there too.
Nice to meet you. I just walked past your old store.
Yeah, it's a really great space, and we can fit quite a bit up here. We've got like 15 genetics right now, and we're getting ready to get a large seed stock in over the next couple of days. But we're sourcing from caregivers that we can also see the flower. That's one thing that's really important for us, is to be able to see what type of the end result it produces. Otherwise, it won't make the shelf.
Are those being sold or considered also in the organic certified world as other parts of the operation are?
So I am working on a line, but in order to do that, we really have to have a mother plant that's in organic certified soil, so that we can say that any cuttings are not only in organic medium, but they came from a mother plant that was also in organic medium.
Okay.
So we will, use sustainable farming techniques like that on everything.
Sure.
It's just easier for the employees, really. At that point, they're just adding water because the plants are actually in food. And then from that point, the grower can put them in whatever they want. If it wants to go into cocoa, if they want to go into pro mix, they'll be able to do that. We'll also have plugs here for people that want to grow in the hydro blocks and the Grodan blocks. So we'll have those available here as well. And we're going to do feminized seedlings for people, so that are already sprouted, started, so they'll be able to pick those up here as well. We're still getting labeling and packaging and everything. We're still hanging a few lights, but we are open. We do have clones here available already.
Hey, is that a special kind of license, or is that just part of the regular license? Because I A, love that idea, but B, have not seen it before. And I don't go into dispensaries a lot, so I don't know, but is that new?
Well, so, in the great tradition of cannabis entrepreneurship, we are in a gray zone. This is a non-THC product because it does not contain any THC. They're cuttings, right? So until they bloom, and in the MRA language, it's not a true cannabis plant until it's formed a root ball. So we're basically, if anything doesn't move fast enough and it becomes a root ball, then it's got to go. but you know, we really felt that this was a complementary business. Apothecare is an all organic grow and retailer, but we really are focused on the medical patients, and we know that, you know, it's sometimes difficult to afford buying all your medicine retail. So we wanted to offer our patients and our adult use clients an opportunity to get some plants in the ground this spring.
And I wanted to point that out, or in their small
home.
home setup or whatever it is too. And it's true. What you are doing is helping to support another source of cannabis that is not necessarily somebody coming into your store and buying a product. And I appreciate that. And you know, it's part of the perspective of not believing that every little type of cannabis activity out there is some type of competition to these retail commercial sales. The pie is big enough for all of this stuff, and sometimes that is an important thing to preserve, an important part of somebody's cannabis.
Amen.
Well, I mean, that's one of the only reasons why I'm sitting in the chair next to Drew.
Type of cannabis
Because that's something that Jess and Lewis talk about, you know, the owners here, that they talk about every day, about not wanting the caregivers to go away, about figuring out a way to provide, you know, a bridge of communication for them to become part of all of this in a way that they want to be a part of it. You know, that in the sea of, am I allowed to say garbage owners, garbage licensing owners? I don't know what I'm allowed to say. But there's a lot of owners that I've met in the last 36 months. I've had a lot of job offers of people that should be selling bottled water, let alone cannabis. And just because they're not here for the right reasons, in my opinion, there's no passion. It's all about the money. It's, you know, and you know, really here, you know, we're a business, so we're in business to be in business, but it's really motivated from a real place of integrity, because it was really hard to get me off my couch. So I am really excited about the things that we're going to do as a company over the next 12 months, and this is just one example of that.
Yeah. Appreciate it. And then the other thing is, this is a organic based operation, and the cultivation is done organically. And for a lot of people, particularly small growers, caregivers, that's the standard. Right after Medical Mondays, the Michigan Grow Show. All those guys were on the other day talking about their journey in growing, and they have all ended up growing completely organically now, after picking away at it for so long. And that's their ultimate standard. And that is really commendable. But in the commercial world, there are some challenges with that.
Yes, yes, there are. We have found them. We continue to find those challenges.
But it still is cool. But just talk about the philosophy and, you know, and what, you know, how that works out for you.
Yeah, well, you know, this company, I like Anthony, I'm very lucky to have found them. I worked for some, you know, a hedge fund billionaire that decided they wanted to invest in cannabis, and that was a nightmare. But, you know, we know that the cannabis plant it's medicine, it's a lifestyle, and we want to be able to provide that to people in a safe and clean way. Like, a lot of people like hydroponic and they like salt grown, and that's great if you like that, but we feel that the ultimate quality and user experience comes from a soil grown, natural environment type of plant that's hand trimmed and well cured, so that it's not just potent and flavorful, but also burns really well and doesn't have any extras in it. You know, even the state regulations, you know, with the testing, you can still pass with a little bit of pesticide. You can still pass with a little bit of fungicide on your plants. We don't want any fungicide or pesticides on our plants. We want the finished product to be as healthy as it is, you know, growing wild in the forests of Acapulco or on the Hindu steppe, you know.
Right on. Isn't it possible that there could be a testing flag for beneficial microbial and
Well,
that type-
we would love to be an advocate to the state and make sure that they understand that, we could have about as much microbials as are on a grocery store apple and be healthy and safe for everybody. But unfortunately, the testing is much more strict for that. So we hope that we will be able to show the state really what's important for the health and safety of medical patients and of adult use patients.
And what's the difference between the adult use standards in this regard and the medical standards? Is there a difference?
The medical standards have about a 10 times as fine test result. So we're lucky in that we are growing medical grade and it's organic and we are passing testing. So it goes to show we have good standards and practices. Unfortunately, not always do we get it through, but we're kind of prepared and we understand that's part of our operations. We will fail some testing because of the way we grow our plant.
Drew, batch for testing is 25 pounds. Do you frequently test 25-pound batches?
That would be a better question for our actual grow team. I'm on the retail side. I would assume that they are probably trying to go a little bit smaller than that in case they do get one fail, it doesn't lose the whole batch. But that's always it's like the equation. How much do you lose in testing the small quantities versus saving and testing larger batches? So.
That's exactly what I was thinking too, is that, instead of a 25-pound batch, if you did to 10-pound batches, you may be paying for, 6 or 7 extra tests, but the risk of loss would be minimized if one of them turned out to be negative. Do you have an opportunity to, repair your cannabis if it tests negative, if it tests positive for things?
Yeah, well, I think for the most part, as far as I know, that if we do get a test that's high in microbiotics or whatever, we will, some of that stuff will be fresh frozen, and then it gets turned into concentrate because that doesn't require any extra remediation. We won't use ozone remediation or X-ray remediation. And for those who know, remediation just means basically killing off the things that are failing your test, and then retesting it because it degrades the quality too much. So if you find it on our shelves in cured flower form, it means that it passed testing the first time through and we didn't have to do any extra steps.
The organic certification status is incredibly unique, and it requires a whole process of evaluation of your systems and things like that, your chemistry. Can you discuss a little bit about how difficult it was to achieve that? And also, how many other people in Michigan are you aware of in the cannabis industry that have achieved that designation?
Well, so the short answer is the USDA has the rights to label something organic, correct? The USDA does not certify cannabis THC product as organic. They do hemp. So our CBD line is our USDA organic certified. Now for cannabis, what we did is we joined with a company or didn't join, but we asked Certified Kind. Certified Kind is a certification platform that is based out of Oregon, and the former founder of Oregon Tilt started this. And it goes beyond just using sustainable organic practices, but also water remediation or water conservation, packaging, and fair labor standards. So if you go to our website, you'll see a logo that says Certified Kind, and we're at apothecareandarbor.com. You can click on that and it will take you to the site and you can read all the things that they require. They go beyond what the USDA requires to certify something as organic.
Anybody else in the state has Certified Kind that you're aware of?
As far as I know, we don't have anybody else that's Certified Kind. We do have other companies that are growing organically, and we're actually hoping to partner with them and offer some of their products as well for sale if necessary. If we can't meet the demand, then we have some people that we're talking to bring other products into the store. But for all intents and purposes, it is an organic product.
Jim Salame?
Yeah, Drew, what I liked about your product was the packaging. Could you just talk about that a little bit, the little packets that come inside.
Hey, real quick, speaking of packaging, Adam Brook is requesting that that Deborah move over and reveal Rick's package because he hasn't seen that in a while.
There you go.
There it is. All right, go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, so we use a company called Cannabis, and they provide us with all our drams, our eighth packaging, and our pre-roll packaging, and our ounces. It's a 100% recyclable product, but it's actually able to break down in the environment after about 10 years. So as opposed to like plastics that live forever, or the Mylar bags that you see a lot of the companies producing that are basically not able to be recycled and just go into the trash stream. All of our packaging is, will break down over time, but can be 100% recycled in your curbside recycling.
I think that's awesome.
And it keeps it airtight, and we package everything, all our eighths anyway, and ounces with a Boveda hydration pack. So it'll keep it well hydrated, and it won't turn to dust in your fingers like some places do. I bought flour from some dispensaries around town and opened it up, and as soon as I touched it, it basically pulverized to dust. So not exactly a pleasant experience.
We just talked about that regarding Canada. You're right.
Yep.
Jamie.
When I walked in, there's monitors on the wall in the entryway before going into the actual area that Jim showed us a couple weeks ago in there. And on the screens were a really nice, large close-up of the bud, and three or four of the major terpenes listed around its side, and no other information. And I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
To emulate that.
They have incredible hash. I love the Death Star you guys have on your menu right now, and and as a part of Hash Lovers of America, it's great to see somebody with hash.
Yeah, I was glad that you got that, because I was hoping you'd enjoy that.
Hash Lovers of America is a thing. Why am I not a member of this? Why am I just now being told?
I want to get a box in my mail every month from the Hash Lovers of America Club. Yes.
Yeah, there's a
I
subscription.
know. I'm just seeing that on the shelves too, like everywhere.
Beats Dollar Shave Club, hand down. So, Apothecare, are your products available in other distribution facilities across the state, or are they exclusive to your own four walls?
No, yeah, we wholesale, and we have partners throughout the state. We actually just, oh man, they're gonna be mad at me. I forgot the name, but we're now available in Houghton. So we're all the way up in the is it the Keweenaw, the Leewenau, the peninsula?
Northern Specialty Health up there?
Houghton Hancock.
It could be. I'd have to pull it up, but we're also like Lake Effect on the west side of the state.
Mm-hmm.
We did just join the New Standard, so we're in Hazel Park. If anybody's down there, you can swing by New Standard and grab some of our products. But yeah, we're in about, I think, almost 10 other retailers now. So that's really exciting. We're the only place in Ann Arbor. The other nearest place you can find us is at 20 past 4 in Jackson.
That's outstanding. Well, great. And 2021 has to look like just a wonderful year going forward for you. As we come out of the pandemic, the industry never sagged. We continue to exceed expectations. And it looks like well-positioned gentlemen like yourselves are in for a good ride.
Yeah, we're just really, thankful and happy that we are able to get the new space open, because this little shop that we're sitting in right now was the old provisioning center. It was so small, there was really no way to meet COVID guidelines. So we were curbside only. So now we're able to actually get people into the store and let them look at our product and really talk to them, take some time with our medical patients and our adult use guests, and really find something that fits their needs. And looking forward to a great spring, a great summer, and thank you guys for all your advocacy and making Michigan one of the first recreational use states. I'd say, I was out in Washington State. I'm a little bit of a unicorn, I think. I was living in Seattle, So I voted for the Washington State I-502 legalization bill. I got into the industry out there, but I'm from Ann Arbor. So I moved back in 2017. I get to vote for and pass Michigan's adult use law, and then I get to work in Michigan's industry. So I've passed it twice.
Have you been back out to Washington or other?
Oh, I'm planning a trip back to the Olympic Peninsula, which is one of my favorite places on the planet. If anybody's ever been, you know why. This August, my birthday's in the middle of August, I always do like a week-long camping trip. So my plan is to go back out there, but it's beautiful. Seattle's great, just very, very expensive to live.
I'm imagining him as a unicorn just galloping out on one of the peninsulas.
That's pretty much.
Hey, there's that other space up there too, which would be a beautiful lounge if that were to ever come to fruition.
So on the horizon, it's definitely still like way out there, but we're talking about building out a consumption lounge. And we spoke about, you know, the John Sinclair Cafe project, which I think would be great. And then, you know, we have a lot of space up here. We're just going to kind of slowly develop it and, you know, hopefully become one of the state's destination spots. One of the ideas we've been talking about for a while is like a museum to the Ann Arbor advocacy history that, you know, Hash Bash, which of course we're happy to announce that we will be sponsoring Hash Bash this year. That is definitely going. We're excited to be part of the virtual Hash Bash. And then 2022, let's go on the Diag again. But yeah, I just feel like, again, I'm just so lucky. And, you know, part of it is because all the work you guys did to be able to live in Ann Arbor, work in Ann Arbor, be part of the industry, part of where the legalization effort was founded, and be able to participate in something like the Hash Bash, where I remember the 16-year-old Drew, you know, going to the Diag and smoking a joint under the tarp because it was raining, which it seems like every other Hash Bash it rains. So, and it's just a dream come true.
It snowed a couple years ago.
It
It was
did.
snowing a couple years ago.
Yes.
Still had a great Hash Bash though. Still filled people up though because we were on our way to some victories, man. It was still a good one, even with the weather.
Well, you know, in Ann Arbor, you're fortunate to have favorable cannabis laws, but you're also fortunate to have favorable entheogenic substance laws too. Jim and Colin were a big part of that as well, getting not only the city but eventually the whole county to sort of step back from the criminalization of the mushrooms and other substances.
Yeah, I know myself, I have used those substances to help me through some big changes, like losing a bunch of weight, quitting smoking cigarettes. I couldn't have done it without it, honestly, I don't think.
I actually, and I would have had this on my bucket list, but I didn't even know it was an option. But I actually walked out of a boardroom earlier this week after looking at several magic mushrooms and different, you know, strains, and was a very surreal moment. It's hard to keep it all in at the moment, but yeah, no, it's a brave new world out there, and to live in a place that is progressive like that is, it really, you know, not to sound cliche, but it really is a dream come true. I hope the rest of the Michigan, you know, follows suit. And I don't really think it's going to change who lives in Ann Arbor. You know, I don't think it's going to change the makeup of the town. And if that's a true statement, which I believe it is, we also live in a town with very, very, very low crime. So it's just, you know, hopefully an example that you really can have the best of both worlds, and really frees up the rest of resources for public safety to do what actually matters.
And it's like, is there any argument anymore that prohibition is insane and it's failed and there's no way prohibition will ever be successful in any of the goals that it sets out for itself? Like, we are the ones that can prove it to the country and on throughout the rest of the world, which just makes us more free, which is the American dream. So let's Let's do it.
The Wall
And
Street Journal puts out a newsletter each week about news stories regarding entheogenic substances and psychedelics. It's so mainstream now that one of the world's largest sources of business related news is discussing corporate moves and new breakthroughs in medicine for a substance that's still technically federally illegal. So when we start talking about it, those that go first are the leaders. And Ann Arbor, as the first in Michigan, at least the Midwest, probably, uh, Ann Arbor really is that example for others to follow.
Yep.
And we're proud that our guys have had a hand in it, and other friends of the show too. Shelly, I mean, Julie, all those other folks too. Michael File, we've got a lot of folks, and we've supported that move for a long time too. But it does take a village to accomplish anything of significance, and this certainly was a group effort.
None of this stuff ever happens because of one person. I mean, really, one thing that I try to remind myself of often is that we're really just fortunate for people like Jack Hare and others that paved the way, John Sinclair, people that sat in jail cells, people that had their civil rights violated, their human rights violated. It's amazing that after all of that, we get to be the ones that kind of like help carry the torch to the next generation.
Well, and tradition is important too. There will be a group of people that gather on the Diag for Hash Bash at the traditional time, 12 o'clock, and more power to them. I think that the in-person event works works in conjunction with the digital broadcast. There are people who want to enjoy it in one way, people who want to enjoy it in the other way, and we can accommodate either.
Hey, Mary Schneider here is telling people to be like Rick Thompson.
That's great.
Or something very similar to that.
What does that mean?
I have to add maybe just certain aspects of Rick Thompson. I don't know.
Well, like people in a shower and that aspect, I think he means.
Well, I mean, hey, some of us are givers and some of us are, watchers.
He wants to
Fifteen
dress
and
up like
catching,
Jamie
are we
and sit
back to
next to
that?
him.
Yeah.
Hey,
mhm.
so before we head out, anything else you guys would like to make sure that we get in or let people know about?
Yeah, I mean, I would love for everybody who watches the podcast to stop by the shop. We're on Plymouth Road between Nixon and Huron Parkway, just on the other side of North Campus. We're open from 11 to 7 Monday through Saturday and 12 to 5 on Sunday, though we're about to be the earliest opening shop in Ann Arbor. We're going to start opening at 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. And I'm going to be the guy who's bud tending. So for those early hours. So if you're on your commute into town from, Canton or Plymouth or Farmington Hills or Livonia, and you work in Ann Arbor, swing through and pick up your wake and bake supplies.
Maybe a cup of coffee in the lobby as well as a pre-roll,
Well,
for the
actually,
ride.
there's Plymouth Road Mall, so we got two places: Songbird Cafe, which is fantastic food and coffee, and we have
Yes.
Starbucks downstairs with a drive.
And the first one you mentioned, not open on Mondays or something.
Not open on Mondays. That's the one day you got to go to the other places. But we love
I have
Starbucks.
to
We love Starbucks too, but it's Starbucks.
I have to tell you, I love this idea. You mentioned it just briefly of kind of a activist museum, and that is my brain just exploded. It was like, oh my gosh, it would be so full already.
Where you can come buy
And-
flowers, smoke it, tour the museum, grab a clone on your way home.
So it's, if you search Cannabis Hall of Fame or Marijuana Hall of Fame, it is something that people have dabbled in, but it's something that I've talked about with a couple groups. And to have your, you want your building decorated in artwork. Why not have it decorated with artifacts from our history?
Oh, so it's already there, or you're thinking
no,
about
no.
making?
Conceptualize.
Oh, okay.
But we have
Oh,
a
yes.
And it's really just a matter of time and finances and partnerships and all the things that go into a business. But
I
it's on our
see
radar.
I actually might see a couple of original inductees on the screen right now. Definitely some people that are, at least worthy of nomination.
Right.
On a commission for
Very
a bust of
Should
Chuck
be in the discussion at some point.
We would like to be enshrined the way that Deb's background is. If you
Yeah.
could possibly enhance the image a little bit, that would be how I'd like to be remembered by.
You can do an actual just reproduction in my case.
The whole Rick Thompson bronze package. Can you imagine it?
We'll get
That should
in
be
there.
an award
That
we
picture
give
needs
to
to be in
activists.
He needs his own wing.
The bronze package is our new award for activism in Michigan. That's what it should be. No one will want to receive it. It's
The Rick Thompson Bronze Package
Yeah,
Award.
there it goes. Yep.
There'd be a ceremony for it every year. Nobody
Oh.
wants it.
We're
with
so
authentic
doing it.
smell. Yes, no.
Yeah, we're
This
so
day
doing
in
this.
history.
This is, I'm sad to say we're recording this and it'll never go away. Everyone will remember this. So the bronze package. What a great deal.
The bronze package can be found on all the major podcast platforms.
Yeah, you have it as a little bug on your website showing that you've won this award. So I mean, when we talk about the MRTMA nowadays, I mean, there's still rules being developed by the Marijuana Regulatory Agency almost on a weekly. They're changing some things around. Are there anything that you
Okay.
think the MRA should be addressing? Any lack of regulation in an area where it would be due, or perhaps an overreach in places where they should scale back?
Well, I mean, I think the moving forward, I think the biggest thing is really dialing in just the threshold testing on what can be allowed on a plant. And nobody wants powdery mildew on their flower. Nobody wants mold. Nobody wants any of those things. But most of those things, if you don't see it or smell it, it's going to be within acceptable limits. I mean, we've been smoking outdoor flower with plenty of bugs on it and stuff for, 5,000, 6,000 years, and we haven't had any problems so far. So other than that, I think it all works pretty well. We can get into can a processor have their own transport so they aren't, that the transport whole thing is a little weird to me. In Washington State, if you were a grower, you would just drive it to your customer and deliver it.
With the various reason why transporters were added to the.
I mean, it's a tax revenue generator and it's things like that, which is fine. It allows more people into the industry.
I think it was because people that hated us shaped that policy.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
were trying to create a backdoor
Just fall
infrastructure
out
to a
the
distributorship, like the tiered system and all.
Yeah.
If you-
I'm over it.
If you establish a middleman system
No,
where you get to
for-
dominate the market, then that's advantageous for that middleman, and that's what tried to happen. But
For me, I would actually like to see it in processing licensing changed a little bit. If a processor, wants to do extractions and also infuse them into various products, so be it. But I really think the state missed the boat by not allowing skilled handcrafted bakers and candy makers to be able to open up shops without having the extraction equipment, so that they could be in more commercialized areas. And you could walk into that chocolate shop where everything is. It's actually something that we're working on having a real beautiful chocolate counter where you can buy, something you compare to Ghirardelli or Godiva, but have it infused with CBD or Delta 8. But yeah, I really think the state should look at allowing, bakeries and cafes to operate that way, since they're not actually, posing any industrialized risk because of, methods of extraction. So that's one thing I would like to see changed.
Before we move
Okay.
on, I'm sorry, go ahead, Rick.
no, please, Jamie.
Before we move on, and we're just being joined here by Q. Really appreciate you guys coming on here today. We'll check back in. The store is awesome. The philosophy is great. The organic thing, even though it's a challenge, it's really commendable that you guys are doing it, and obviously getting into a lot of stores and a lot of people liking it. And I don't think we talked about it, but you guys did win in an organic cup recently. One of your
Yeah.
types.
Gage Green cannabis cup for the organic category for our Sunday driver. And I guess the last thing I could
Oh,
say
I
is
love Sunday driver.
we do have some more Sunday driver. Give us a couple weeks to finish it, and it should be on the shelves. And we also have a fresh harvest of somebody's name we mentioned earlier, Jack Herrera, which is one of my all-time favorite strains. And we have it in pre-roll right now, but we'll have it in flower in a couple weeks as well. I think you've got to try it if you like Jack. It's some of the best Jack Herrera I've ever had.
I will have a Jungle Boys cut of Sunday Driver clones here as well, available in about 10 days. They're in the domes right now. But yeah, everyone that's out there, we need to rehome these. They need their forever home. It's definitely time to get your
Before root sprouts.
Could you put a
Get
blue
over
dream
there,
aside for me?
Jim's making a request. He says he wants all your blue dreams.
all the blue dreams. Okay.
I think
No,
he said
but I'm
one,
looking for
actually.
Dust Star. I'm looking for Dust Star for real. I mean,
I'll take 2 blue dreams, please.
Oh, we don't have. I just got a lead on Blue Dream. It's something that is kind of hard to find nowadays.
Oh, okay.
And
He's telling you it's going to be expensive. I think.
Death Star.
Yeah.
Actually.
Okay.
what about the
Talk to
Dust
my
Star?
manager and see if we can get you
All
back.
right. Hey, let's.
But when the store is finished, I'd love to have you guys come and revisit and check it out. And
for sure. And we'll.
everyone can leave with a brand new baby girl.
There you go. And we'll continue being in touch too. Really appreciate what you guys are doing over there.
Thanks,
Thanks a lot.
everybody. Smoke weed every day.
Take care, guys.
Try.